Hey, what's up guys? So I had this brilliant idea of, hey, let's do a my favorite books video. Well, that pile was like here and here. So being that we are all quarantined or soon to be quarantined, I figured I would show you all my favorite books that I like to read to transport myself into another world. They help kind of block out all the craziness, anxiety, all that kind of scary stuff that we don't like to think about and talk about. So get comfy. There's a lot of books to go over here. And let's get right into it. So the first one is, I think, a pretty common favorite. It is Alice in Wonderland. Now, I love Alice in Wonderland. It's such like a magical, mystical, you don't know what's gonna come next kind of story. It's just so much fun. I can literally read this copy in like an hour. I mean, it's definitely a kid's book, but it's timeless. There have been so many movies, all kinds of stuff made from it. I actually really love the Tim Burton films that he made of all the Alice in Wonderlands. They're amazing, love them. Also, sorry if you see my ring light through my glasses. Sometimes I really don't wear my glasses when I'm filming because of that, but I mean, I really need them today, so. Okay. Also, this one, I love Lauren Graham so much. Oh my God, who likes Gilmore Girls? Do you guys like Gilmore Girls? I love Gilmore Girls. So when she came out with her biography, I was like, I need that right now. I actually got this for Christmas from my mom. And it's just really awesome. Like, she talks about Gilmore Girls, parenthood, her early childhood, her adulthood. It's really awesome. I just really like her. She's an awesome person. She is really interesting. I didn't know she started wanting to do like theater, and she went to school for theater. She went to college for it. She's a really interesting person. She's just such a sweet soul. I really love her, and I love this book so much. My next book that I love is the Travis Barker biography. This was amazing. Okay, he's such a cool guy. He's been through so much in his life, and it's funny because like you see him as this like really cool punk rocker, and he was literally in marching band in high school. He was basically like, whenever and however I could play the drums, that's what I was doing. Like, he didn't care what people thought. He was gonna play the drums. And he actually, one interesting thing that he said in this book was that he tatted himself up as a kid. Well, not as a kid, but like a teenager. And his dad was like, what are you doing? Like, you're never gonna get a job. And he was like, that's my point. Like, there is no plan B for me. I'm going to be a drummer and I'm gonna be in a band, and that's it. So he literally started tatting himself up so no one else would hire him. So this is a really awesome book. Definitely a must read. Also, Blink is my favorite band, so I had to read that book. Another one is a book from my childhood that I just love so much. Anyone that knows me knows that I love Winnie the Pooh more than life itself. So this is The Complete Tales. I got this book when I was a kid. I was pretty young when I got it, and now actually my nephew reads it, so that's pretty cool. But it's really cute. It's really nicely illustrated. It has that like old classic Winnie the Pooh illustrations. But it's just so sweet. I mean, who doesn't love Winnie the Pooh? He's just so lovable. He's so innocent. Every time I read this, I just wanna hug it. And I also still really love watching the Winnie the Poohs. They have them on Netflix. I'm not sure if they have them on Disney Plus, but they have all like the original series on Netflix now, and it's so much fun to watch. I watch it with my nephew, and Winnie the Pooh, he's just so cute and cuddly. You just like want to snuggle up when you watch him. So yeah, this is definitely one that I will always read, and definitely one that I would love to read to my kids one day. Kind of on the opposite end of that is Grimm's Fairy Tales. This book is so cool. Like, it definitely not for kids, but it's kind of like the dark side of all the fairy tales that we know and love. And it just really makes you think. It's almost like the Twilight Zone of fairy tales. So they have all these fairy tales, some that we know, like, what's one that we know? They have Cinderella, they have Rapunzel, they have Rumpelstiltskin, but they're all really eerie, which is really cool to read sometimes. So this is definitely a good book. They're very like short fairy tales, so they're just fun to read sometimes, just to like get your mind off things, think of things that we think we know and love from a different perspective. The next two are probably something that everyone has read in school, To Kill a Mockingbird and then Go Set a Watchman. So these kind of go hand in hand. To Kill a Mockingbird came out a long time ago, and I know a lot of people have to read it in high school, but I really loved this book in high school. I thought it was just so real and so relatable to so many people. I think it's a really timeless book, and I do find myself just going back to it like once a year and just reading it and just having fun with it. And it kind of takes me back to when I was in high school and all like the essays and discussions that we had about it. It's definitely a classic, definitely a must read. If you haven't read To Kill a Mockingbird, you need to. And then Harper Lee came out with Go Set a Watchman a couple years ago, and when I heard that this book was coming out, I was like, no way, like this is crazy. So it basically starts with Scout, and she's in her 20s, and she kind of has her own story in this book. But this is really, it's really cool, like all these years later, that she came out with a second kind of sequel to Go Kill a Mockingbird. So this is definitely a must read as well. If you're a fan of To Kill a Mockingbird, definitely get this one. And definitely get To Kill a Mockingbird before you read this one, just so you can kind of get like the full story behind it. And another one that most of us have read in school that's a classic, loved by many, The Outsiders. The Outsiders is such a good book. It's just like relatable to especially high school kids, you know, being like the rebel and just friendship and all that good stuff. It's such a good book. And they have a movie too. It's really old though. I wish they would come out with like a new version of The Outsiders. That would be really cool. Like with, you know, celebrities that are current now, that would be really awesome. I love when they come out with movies based on books, but I have a rule, and that's if I want to see the movie, I have to read the book first, because the book is always better. I mean, it's impossible for a movie to capture everything that a book can, because I mean, you could just go into so much more detail in a book. So I definitely, like, that's my rule. Like, okay, if I'm gonna see the movie, that's cool, that's fine, but I'm reading the book first. So the next book is by actually J.K. Rowling, and it's The Casual Vacancy. This book is like, it's like the never-ending book. There are so many twists and turns to this book. Like, you do not know how this book is going to end. There's so many different stories, and it's basically all these people are connected to this one event that happens in this town, and it's just so good. I mean, J.K. Rowling is like the queen, right? She's just such a good writer. She also wrote 2 other books under a pseudonym, Robert Galbraith. I have those books as well. They're really good too. They're mysteries, which is never like something that I go for, but I was like, it's J.K. Rowling, I gotta read them. They came out a while ago, and they're really good. But this one is really interesting. It kind of like is fun to just like read, and it takes you through other people's drama. You know, it's like when something's going on and you're just like watching it because you're not part of it, so it's interesting to you. So that's what this book is kind of. Another one, it's not really like it doesn't really transport you into another world per se, but it was a really, really good book. I actually got this book off of another YouTuber's recommendation, Hannah McNeely. She loves books and she reads a lot of books, so I love taking her recommendations because they're always really good. So this was one of them, and it's The Girls from Corona Del Mar. And it's about 2 girls who live in California, and they grow up together, and then they kind of go their separate ways, but then they kind of reconnect when they're older, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this book. There's a lot of more scandalous things that happen in this book, but it was really good, really, really good. And then the ultimate transport yourself to another universe, forget about the world, everything's magical. The Harry Potter series. Oh, my favorite. I actually am starting to reread them because, like I said, they literally transport you to another world, and J.K. Rowling left nothing out, no question unanswered. So this has been really good for me during this quarantine because my anxiety has been a little high and I just can't watch the news anymore. And I just want to sit on the couch with a really good book and just take my mind off everything. So that right here is this book, okay? All of these books are amazing. I could probably do a whole YouTube video just on the Harry Potter series because there's just so much. The movies are amazing. The books are amazing. Let's not talk about The Cursed Child because that was not amazing. I'm sorry, but I could not get into it. I cannot read a book that's a screenplay. It's too confusing. It's too many words. I don't care about who went to what side of the stage, all that stuff. I'm like, ugh, I can't. But these books are my holy grail. I also have like Tales of Beedle the Bard, and Quidditch Through the Ages, like all those books that were a spinoff of these books, and it's just, oh, I love them. I also want to get the illustrated versions of these books. I think that'd be really fun, especially like to read to my nephew because he actually asked me to read him this book this morning. And I mean, considering it's a chapter book with no pictures, he got through like 4 pages of just sitting next to me while I was reading it. So, I mean, that's pretty good. So I can only imagine if it was illustrated, how long he would be able to sit with me reading it to him. So that's going to be really fun to do together because I love Harry Potter so much. It's amazing. I love it. So those are my, transport you into a different universe kind of book. When you read these books, like, you forget everything else, and that's the whole point. So let me know if you've read any of these, if you have any other good recommendations. I love reading, and also I usually only buy books secondhand. So like the Harry Potter books were bought new because they were a gift from my husband. A couple of other books were bought new, but those were gifts. But personally, like this one I bought for myself, it was used. I go onto Barnes & Noble, I type in the book I want, and then where they have like the price and everything, they have like however many books sold by market, I think it's like market sellers, and they're all used. So you click on that and then it brings you to a whole list of who's selling them used. I mean, the cheapest book I bought was $2.50. It's amazing, and they're all really good condition. Like this was used, but it's perfectly fine. I've never bought a book from Barnes & Noble Marketplace that has been like gross. The only thing that can kind of get you is if you're buying a whole bunch of books, you have to pay shipping for each because they all come from different places, and shipping can go from $3 to $4. So you end up maybe paying around $10 for the book, but that's still so much cheaper than what you would have to pay for it full price. Like this book was $15 full price. I think I got it for $3, and I think the shipping was $3. So I paid $6 for it, and it's literally perfect. I mean, there's a couple stains on the front, but who cares, right? And what else did I buy? Oh, I also bought a book recently from Amazon Marketplace, and that was only because they didn't have it at Barnes & Noble, and it was really, really dirty. And I was actually really shocked because, like I said, I never had an issue buying books used through the mail before. So I wasn't really crazy about it. Like, it was really dirty. But I mean, I can't say that for all the books Amazon has. But I just really love supporting Barnes & Noble. It holds a very special place in my heart. I used to go there all the time with my mom and my sister. We used to get our coffees at Starbucks, get a whole bunch of books, sit at the cafe, and just read and drink coffee. Pretty much since middle school up until now. So I just really love supporting Barnes & Nobles if I can. But books are expensive, so I cannot buy them full price. And there's also so many books in this world Like, we don't need to be like making more books, especially the older books. I mean, even the new books you can get used, honestly. But a lot of people just read them and donate them. You know, like One and Done. Me, I'm like, this is my book. Don't take it away from me. I hate giving up my books. I do love sharing my books, like with family and friends, but I would never, especially if it's a book that I love, I would never just donate it because I have an attachment to all my books because I'm crazy. So, but a lot of people don't. Lucky for me, so I can buy them used. So yeah, just a good pro tip. But yeah, let me know if you have any recommendations. I love reading, so I would love to take up some of your recommendations. Definitely check out the Barnes & Noble Marketplace to find some good used books. And I think in my next books video, I'll do more of my favorite books, just a different type of genre. So let me know if you guys want to see that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.